Alrighty. See if we can't find the stream, eh? That one. That one. Yep, stream audio is working as it should. Chat's up. Everything is working as it should be. Good. Sit here and chill for a bit. Suppose I should keep my eyes in the Discord, see what's going on. It seems KD wants to get underway early. Some people are ready up, some people are waiting. We'll get started in at least a minute's time. $18 drivers, it's a very solid field. Good to see. So we're missing a Ferrari and AlphaTauri. Good. Our people are readying up. When the timer hits 0, I'll start up my usual spiel, as per normal. Hello everyone and welcome to round 4 of the America's Tier 1 Championship here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and today, for the first sprint round of the championship, we'll be competing at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. Considered to be one of the most legendary racetracks of them all, Spa has an incredibly rich racing history, having hosted motorsport events as early as 1922. Over the course of the following century, the track has changed quite significantly. Today, it measures up at 4.35 miles, consists of 19 turns and 2 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking spots of Turn 1 and Turn 5. Eau Rouge and Raidillon is the obvious highlight area of the racetrack. The infamous section has been the home to many dramatic moments at Spa, but the drivers will need to be wary of corners such as Pouhon at Turn 10, the fast right-handers of Stavelot at turns 14 and 15, and even the bus stop chicane of turns 18 and 19. With the incredibly high average speeds that are achieved here at Spa, DRS trains are going to be very prominent over the course of both races. This means qualifying well and gaining as much track position as possible will be key will be an important factor for achieving victory today. But before we focus on qualifying, there is a bit of news to go through first from the previous race in the Netherlands. There were no incident reports submitted by the drivers last week. As a result, the final finishing positions of that race remain completely unchanged. In the Drivers' Championship, it's Blockman who was leading the way on 76 points, but we've now arrived at a hiccup in his championship charge. He is not attending this race here at Spa. There's a lot of points available in a sprint round, so he may take a significant blow. Axis is P2 in the championship on 60 points, just 16 behind Blockman. Followed behind him is KD on 58 points, followed by Nander on 42, then Rebel rounding out the top 5 on 33. Obviously, with Blockman and Rebel's performances so far, Alpine lead the team's championship on 109 points, followed by AlphaTauri on 72. Haas are next, just 10 points behind on 62 points, followed by Ferrari on 61, and then Williams on 55. But that's about it in terms of news we need to go through. We can now focus on this qualifying session. It's quite bright. Compared to the previous qualifying sessions that I've done in both Elite Series and Pacific Tier 1, there's substantially more light compared to what I've seen before. It might change how the lap times look on the leaderboard. We'll just have to wait and see. The first driver to attempt a flying lap will be Drag King in the Alfa Romeo. A long lap here at Spa, as I mentioned, 4.3 miles. Takes an awfully long time to do an out lap and an in lap around this circuit. So managing the time left on that clock in the top left will be very important to make sure you can optimize qualifying as best as you can. Drag King is making his way through the bus stop. Might ride on board, give you a tour of this iconic, legendary 4.3 mile racetrack. Cross the line to begin his flying lap. We'll head up towards La Source, turn 1. Breaking down from 8th gear, dropping it down to 2nd, clipping the apex, getting back on the power as he heads down the hill as Rebel retires. He's stopped next to his teammate, Vitals. What? He's gone into the wall. Did the two Alpines come together on the Camel? Is that what Is that what happened? Come on, game, show me. Yeah, that front wing is damaged on Vital's car, so what on earth happened between those two? Rebel is out of qualifying. He'll be starting from plumb last. And Vitals has got a 5 grid place penalty. Okay. Not sure what that was all about. Alright, we might ride on board with RF1 Tom. We'll do our tour again. Crossing the line now, heading up towards the source. We're going to see a fair amount of drama here at turn 1, lap 1. It's going to be quite a car park through the opening hairpin. Down the hill towards the infamous part of the racetrack, Eau Rouge and Radion turns 2, 3, and then the left of Radion turn 4 as we head onto the Camel Straight. DRS open on the McLaren. Watch the speedo go, 210, 212, 214, 15 miles an hour as we head into the Laycombe chicane. Turns 5 and 6. Now around turn 7. Head down the hill towards the right-hand sweeper that is turn 8. Drops it down to 2nd gear. Short shifts up to 3rd. We head down towards turn 9. No name. Drag King sets the benchmark at 1 minute 42.8. As Tom is heading into Pouon, turns 10 and 11. It's a very fast complex, very easy to get it wrong through that left-hander. Now through this S section, turns 12 and 13, 5th gear, modulating the throttle well. We head into turn 14, Stavilo. Short shift up to 4th gear, using all of the curve available to you on the outside of that corner. As we exit turn 15 and head through the flat-out final sector. Around this little left-hand hit kink, that is turn 16. Then turn 17, Blanchimont in the dry. It's a fairly easy corner. In the wet, can be a bit of a nightmare. Into the bus stop. Final 2 corners on the racetrack and the only braking zone in the final sector. Captain Schmeg sets a new benchmark with a 42.1. Tom cannot beat it. He jumps to 2nd, though, with a 42.3. What's going on here? Might have rain in the middle of the race. Interesting. But yeah, I haven't got any information in regards to what happened to both Rebel and Vitals there on the Camel. I have absolutely no idea what happened to those two. Gio here, I believe a reserve driver in the Aston Martin car, making his way towards the middle sector split. Axis jumping to the top, unsurprisingly so. 1 second separates him and Captain Schmeg, as he said, a 1 minute 41.158. Absolutely flat out through this final sector. Entry speed of 200 miles an hour into Blanchimont. Absolutely flat out the whole way round. Through the bus stop, maybe a slight overshoot at turn 18. Looks stable though at the exit of the chicane. Crossing the line, Gio will jump up to 4th position with a 1 minute 42.318. KD making his way through the final chicane and back on to the main straightaway. Can he challenge Axis for provisional pole? Well, he'll jump up to P2, but he is 6/10 behind the AlphaTauri. It's a big old gap to try and make up. See if he can do it throughout the rest of this qualifying session. We've still got a long way to go until the checkered flag comes out for quali. JBH making his way into the downhill right-hand sweeper of turn 8. Quite a tricky little corner, turn 8. It has a lot of negative camber. What that does, it pushes the car away from the racing line. So you have to try and hug the corner, keep it tight towards the apex. So we head out of turn 11 now towards the S section. These curbs here at turns 12 and 13, they look benign. I can assure you they're anything but. If you touch those slightly the wrong angle, you can lose the back end of the car, you can spin out and potentially end up in a barrier. Sort of a similar story there through turn 15 as well. JBH passing the Williams. Was that Jay? It was Jay, so he had invalidated his lap, so he got well out of the way of JBH. That was very gentlemanly of him. Through the final chicane for the Mercedes driver, nice and tidy. Keeping it well within the white lines. DRS open, crossing the line, and he jumps up to third, a 42.035. Just missing out on the 41s. Vitals here, making his way through No Name down the hill towards Pouon. He does have a penalty next to his name. Can't show it through here. But you have to look at it at the race director though. See the incidents here. Grid penalty for Vitals, a collision with Rebel. So I can only assume the Alpines came together down the Kemmel Straight, ultimately resulting in Rebel going into the wall. I honestly don't know. I haven't received any info about it. Ferrari off the racetrack. That would be KD. He's the only Ferrari in this race. Rebel just said it wasn't important. Axis asked the question what happened, and Rebel just said it's not important as Vitals jumps up to P9. Oh. His missus got involved. Oh no. So it appears that Rebel was a bit distracted, and I think he might have hit the back of somebody. So, okay, that might explain a bit. That's a shame. I suppose thankfully for him, we got 30 long laps of racing to do here at Spa-Francorchamps. A lot of time to try and make up ground, especially if there's a weather-effective race on the way. 55 Cent making his way through Blanchimont, heading towards the bus stop chicane. That isn't really a bus stop anymore, but we call it the bus stop because that's how we know it. Exiting the final corner and onto the main straightaway. Crossing the line, he'll set a 43.0, 13th fastest for the Aston Martin driver. Jay making his way through the final part of the lap. Got a legal lap going. This will count. It's a 42.7. He goes just behind his teammate Nico. He's making his way out of Radion. Heads onto the Kemmel Straight. Absolutely flat out. All the way down towards the Lacombe chicane. Building up to a speed of 213 miles an hour. Drops it down to 4th gear through the chicane complex as we head around turn 7. Down the hill towards turn 8. From 7th gear, he'll drop it down to 3rd. Hit the apex nice and late. Lovely rotation through that right-hander. Good rotation as well through No Name. Down the hill towards Pouon. Yellows are out at, say, Alfa Romeo off the racetrack. Either Drag King or Smokey. Doing their best to not do a Antonio Giovinazzi impression. Crossing the middle sector split, Nico has just improved by 0.4 of a second. He's looking at a very low 42 here if he can just string it together through this final sector. Got a few drivers jumping up. Little Mick up to 5th with a 42.216. Just goes in front of Saucy by, what's that, 8 thousandths of a second between P5 and 6. Up towards the line for Nico. He'll set a 42.014. He jumps to 3rd. Still got a fair amount of time left in qualifying, so he should be able to do one more lap, I would think. If the yellow flag indicator didn't cover the timer, there we go. Just under 6 minutes left. 13 thousandths of a second. That's how much Captain Schmeg is up on his PB. Needs to find a bit of time here in the final sector if he wants to improve position. Saucy's just jumped up to third with a 41.7. Captain Schmeg does improve, but by very, very little. By 17 thousandths of a second. Up the hill through Eau Rouge and Radion. Gio making his way onto the Camel Straight. DRS open. Up towards the first sector split. The clock says for the Aston reserve driver, he's up by almost 1/10 of a second. That's not a bad improvement, considering the majority of that section is just flat out. It's just flat out corners. So yellow's out. That's a Red Bull going slowly. Probably Saucy, I would think. He might have run out of fuel. Tom's running low on fuel as well. Will he duck into pit lane or complete this lap? He's going to complete the lap. Back onto the main straightaway. DRS open. Tom will cross the line. Jump up to P6 with a 42.131. Now, is it Saucy? It is. And as you can see, he is completely out of fuel. That's why the yellows are out. His teammate Stubbs is making his way back into pit lane. Should have enough time to have one more go. Gio has invalidated this flying lap. He's low on fuel as well, so you won't be able to have another go. You'll have to go back into pit lane, put on another set of tyres, wait for the final stages of qualifying. Only 4 minutes left. Drivers do need to keep an eye on that clock. Captain Schmeg will go back into pit lane as well. Quite possibly the worst pit lane entry in all of Formula 1. Just like the beginning of qualifying, the first driver on what could be their final flying lap attempt will be Drag King in the Alfa Romeo. Now if that yellow... Okay, 3.5 minutes left. Man, I wish that yellow flag indicator was just somewhere else so I could see the timer at all times, because having that stinking yellow flag indicator covering the timer, it just makes it so difficult. I want to know how much time we have left. Yes, there's a slow car in the middle sector. It's Tom, and it's because he's out of fuel. I get it. Drag King making his way onto the main straightaway. Just under 3 minutes left in the session. Make his way towards the source, turn 1. Drops it down to second gear. Gets back on the power. Up to third, up to fourth. There's a Haas leaving pit lane. That'll be Nanda. He's yet to set a lap time. Down in 17th position. Through Eau Rouge. Then Radion. Onto the Camel Straight. Open DRS. Head up towards the first sector split. What does the clock say for the Alfa Romeo driver? It says he's up by 16 thousandths of a second. Round turn 6. Up towards turn 7. Down the hill towards 8. Building up to a speed just under 180 miles an hour. Drops it down to about 73 at the apex of the little right-hand sweeper. Or a bit of a wiggle out of turn 9 as he heads towards Pouon, turn 10. Slight lift, drop down to 7th gear, keeps him within the white lines. So we head towards the S section of turns 12, then 13. Doing a tidy job at the moment, keeping his car within the white lines, keeping it smooth as well as he's up by 2/10 of a second. So he's potentially jumping into the top 10 here, so long as he puts together a clean final sector. KD has just begun his final flying a lap attempt. Once Drag King's done his lap, we'll flick it up to him. Through the final chicane. Turns 18 and 19. Then back on to the Camel Straight. Drag King will set a 42.5. He just misses out on the top 10. P11 for him. JBH making his way over the top at Radion, onto the Camel Straight. KD's making his way through Lake On. He's up by 39 thousandths of a second. If he wants to take pole, he needs to improve by 6/10ths of a second. It's an awfully tall mountain to climb. We'll see if he's up to the challenge as he heads down the hill and through turn 9. Nice and tidy, keeping him within the white lines as we head into Puon. 7th gear, big lift, but only a single lift. He didn't have to reset the accelerator. He got the nose in, he stayed committed, and the car did the work. Did all the work for him. Stayed well within the white lines through turn 10. Up towards the middle sector split, he's up. He's up by a decent chunk, by 2.5 tenths, but really, this needs to be a mega final sector if KD wants to take pole away from Axis. Round Blanchimont, absolutely flat out. 2 corners left, the bus stop. Down to 3rd gear, clips the first apex, clips the second. Eventually reaches full throttle, DRS open, crossing the line. It's a good lap, he improves by 4/10. It's a 41.3. It's just not enough for pole. See if anyone else can challenge. Saucy's down in the first sector, bit wide there at 10, just kept it within the white lines. Axis has invalidated his final lap, so that's the benchmark for everyone else to try and beat. 41.1. Nico's up by 1/10 of a second to the middle sector split. He needs to find a fair chunk of time to just beat Saucy in P3. Up towards the final chicane. Hard on the brakes, down to 2nd gear. Gets it through nice and tidy, short shifting up to 3rd, a little wiggle in the steering there. Up towards the line, it's P4. It's a 41.9 exactly. He misses out on P3. Saucy's up by 2/10. Could he challenge for P2? The answer is no. He stays 3rd, but improves to a 41.6. Captain Schmeg, who was just behind, has just jumped up to the top 5 with a 41.918. And Gio's not too far behind, 300ths behind to be exact in P6. Jay jumped up to the top 10. Nice little recovery from him. Black Baller, his session is done. Smokey just did a lap. Nanda will be starting from the back with Rebel. He did not set a lap time in this session. In the top 5 in the Drivers' Championship, he'll be starting from 17th for the sprint race here at Spa. A little bit of drama over the course of this qualifying session. One man can only take pole position, and that is Axis, setting a time right in the middle of qualifying at 41.1, and I do believe that was his first attempt at a flying lap. He didn't beat it, but nobody else did either. KD will start from P2, followed by Saucy in P3. Nico P4, then Captain Schmeg rounds out the top 5. Then we have Gio, JBH, Tom, Jay, and Little Mick rounding out the top 10. Vitals will be tumbling down the order to 16th. For the main race, I don't think sprint. I think for the sprint they'll be starting P11. We'll wait and see. 55 Cent is next, followed by Smokey, Drag King, Black Baller, Stubbs, Nanda and Rebel. 2 big storylines there. Both of them in the top 5 in the Drivers' Championship, starting from the last row in 17th and 18th position. Race time. It's nice and clear here at Spa. No signs of cloud cover whatsoever. Now, with other tiers that I've commentated for, the majority have chosen to start on the medium compound tyre. But you do see occasionally somewhere between 1 to 5 drivers starting on the softs, and I imagine it's going to be the same here in the America Series. I imagine a few drivers are going to be tempted to start on those soft tyres, try and gain track position early and try and hold on throughout the rest of the race. Of course, if there are any safety cars over the course of the sprint, it will reduce the load done on those soft tyres, making them last longer. So there's a risk versus reward game you can play in regards to the tyres, but the majority of them will choose a safer medium compound tyre, I think. Alright, lined up, ready to go. 18 cars on the grid, 8 laps in front of us, 5 red lights, and the sprint is underway here at Spa. It's a nice start from Axis as we head into La Source. Saucy trying to challenge KD. Oh, bump there between Saucy and I think it might have been Captain Schmeg at turn 1. 3 wide action heading towards turn 2. They get it sorted. Captain Schmeg with the inside line. JBH though, keeping the fight alive, 2 wide through there, and they somehow get it through. Rebel, yellows out. Not quite sure who they're for. I think everyone's running A-OK as we head towards turn 5. Oh, Captain Schmeg almost... Oh, he's gone into the wall. That's what he's done. I was going to say he's almost gone into the back of Nico, and someone's followed him. It's Black Baller. Both drivers tumbling down to last and second last. But it's Axis who leads, KD in second, Saucy in third, followed by Nico, then JBH, then Gio, Jay, the 2 McLarens of Tom and Little Mick, then Smokey rounds out the top 10. Suzu on what tie? There we go, 2 drivers on the softs, Nanda and Rebel, right at the back of the field. They're saying screw it. Start on the softer tyre in this sprint, try and make up as much track position as we possibly can. Around turn 15 into the final sector. Venom Stubbs is out. Where is he? Oh, he's in the inside wall. Safety car deployed at the end of lap 1. Where is Stubbs? There he is. Evidently lost control out of turn 14 and he smashed it into the Armco on the inside of the racetrack. So our first retirement results in our first safety car of the race. Get a reset. So everyone on the mediums except for Nanda and Rebel might have a few takers to pit lane. Yeah, both Nanda and Rebel are in pit lane. They might pit onto another set of softs. I would in this situation. Front wing damage for Rebel, so they'll probably explain the yellows in sector 1, Nanda 2. Captain Schmeg is in, so is Black Baller. Soft tyres bolted on, new front wing as well. So he leaves pit lane. Captain Schmeg pitting onto another set of mediums. About that. Would have gone onto soft tyres, try and save that other set of mediums. And now he's pitted onto medium tyres. Interesting. See the position change graphic. Captain Schmeg has lost the most out of anybody. So what happened to him through turns 5 and 6? He's down 12 spots, but most importantly, he's still in the race. Drivers who have gained the most, Nanda and Rebel up 3 positions. Smokey up 3, he's had a pretty tidy start. Jay and JBH up 2 places respectively. The top 4 have remained completely unchanged. Nico, Saucy, KD and race leader Axis right at the front of the field. Don't need possible race strategies for a sprint game. Of course it's a no-stop. Just be waiting on Black Baller and Captain Schmeg to catch up to the tail of the field. Once they do, safety car should make its way back into pit lane shortly. I suppose we're doing one more lap behind this thing. Okay. Safety car periods, they take forever, especially here at Spa. No penalties as of yet. 4 drivers have made a pit stop. Bit of position changing. Really not much to go through. We just have to sit and wait for this safety car period to end. Just take a little while, I suppose. Yeah, these guys at the tail of the field, they've got a whole heap of work to do. They're only going to have 5 laps to try and claw their way through the field. Around a track like Spa, frankly, it ain't easy. It is very difficult to make your way through the field. Very difficult to pass through the middle sector. DRS trains tend to form, so it's difficult to pass on the straightaways and in the big braking zones, like at turn 1, like at turn 5. The only advantage that both Nanda and Rebel have is the fact they're on the soft compound tyre, and they need to utilise the grip that tyre has. Same with Black Baller in 16th position. Captain Schmeck, pitting onto a set of mediums. Oof. I mean, they're not going to be terribly worn by the end of this race, but yeah, I think I would have pitted onto a set of softs just to try and save that set for the main race. Even if it was a used set from qualifying. About 30 seconds time. Safety car lights will go out. Axis will control the field. See the virtual Bernd Maylander and his passenger making their way through turns 12 and 13. It's good to see that the steering wheel glitch is still very much a thing. See all the data. Apparently he's doing 176 miles an hour right now in 8th gear. Yep, sounds about right. Safety car, gonna tootle off back into the pit lane, and Axis controls the field. Bring up telemetry for this one, my right on board. Taking it nice and easy, hovering at a solid 70 odd miles an hour. He's riding the brake, using the throttle at the same time. He's just trying to keep the brakes hot, keep the tyres hot, ready for the restart. See Nico drawing alongside Saucy as well, so drivers are probably going to play aggressive here on the restart. And there goes Axis. Oh, not yet. He backs off. To be honest, that was the perfect time to restart. He caught KD napping through the final chicane and back onto the main straightaway. It's a solid restart nonetheless from Axis. He's got almost a second in hand to KD and P2. So we head around turn 1. No one in any sort of position to try and attack here. 55 Cent and Vitals battling. Oh, and around goes Fiddy. Oh, dearie me. Vitals tumbles down the order as well, down to 14th. 55 Cent is down to 17th position. Black Baller trying to get by Vitals. It's a drag race towards Lake On. It's a drag race that's going to be won by the Mercedes. Side by side battling in front. The Haas of Nanda. The Alfa Romeo of Drag King. Tom off the racetrack there at turn 7. He's got front wing damage as well. Tries to get well out of the way as he knows he's slightly impeded with that broken front wing. He doesn't want to get in anybody else's way. Very gentlemanly. Through turn 10. Rebel trying to go for 11th here as we head towards turn 12. Lifts off. He wanted to have a look down the inside. Now looks around the outside. And look at the grip. Oh, he makes contact with Drag King. He is out. Oh, no. And another safety car. And all the grip around the outside. Drag King, I think, understeered into him. The way he spun into the wall. Well, another safety car. Just like a lead series, we had 2 safety cars during the sprint. We've got 2 safety cars here. This is gonna be a boring sprint. There's going to be a lot of safety car time. Soft tyres at the ready, as well as a new front wing. Tom, don't know if he had help, but he evidently hit the barrier on the right-hand side of turn 7, at the exit of turn 7. Broke a bit of that front wing. He's now all the way down in 16th, in last place. He's not going to have a lot of time to make his way up through the field. Alright. So we're just going to sit here and wait patiently again. Gonna have to wait for 2 laps as well, because that's what the safety car does. It won't go in at the end of this lap. So I'm trying to get some temperature into those tyres. He won't have to do much. The soft tyre will turn on pretty quickly. Yeah. Always a good idea to try and get some temperature in those tyres. Cold tyres really don't have any grip whatsoever. Alright, yeah, the safety car shouldn't go in. Yeah. We're gonna wait some more. Gee whiz. Not much in terms of detail to go through. I mean, Nanda and Rebel have made their way up. Almost, well, Nanda's in the top 10, Rebel just outside of it. That's really about it. At Vitals, have a moment with Fiddy at turn 1. Almost resulted in a decent sized accident with the 2 cars hooking up like that. Tom with his incident drops all the way down to last place. Fair bit of recovering to do. No one with time penalties as of yet either. Everyone's kept it clean in regards to those, but yeah, we've had a fair few incidents over the course of this race. I just don't know what to talk about. Quite lost. Laps here at Spa are long. Very, very long. At least the Aston Martin safety car gets some TV time, eh? At this rate, the safety car will lead more laps than Axis will. Come on. Whoa, what's happened here? JBH tumbles down through the order. He spun a pull-on. How do you spin a pull-on behind the safety car? Well, he's now down in last. He won't be able to pass anybody. He's stuck there now. Even behind the safety car, you gotta maintain focus. What the hell? Alright. Axis will control the field. There goes the safety car off. Back to its home. We won't see that again for the rest of the sprint. Might see it in the main race. I suppose only time will tell. Yeah, trying to keep temperature in those tyres. Riding the brake. Riding the accelerator. Waiting for his moment to go. Big old gap between Gio and Nico. Need to close that up. There we go. He takes off. Through the bus stop. And back onto the main straightaway. We're now getting some cloud cover over the top of the racetrack. We're back under green flag conditions. We've got 2 laps to go here at Spa-Francorchamps in the sprint race, as Axis almost threw it away right there. He almost did, but he kept it under control, just about. Nanda, Smokey, drag racing down the hill. Seems that the Haas has got the better straight line speed. Nanda is through into 8th place. Up the hill, round Ratty on. It's tied between these two, and Smokey's right in that slipstream. He's going to try. Whoa, a huge weave. Huge weave to the inside. Jay tries to get by Gio. He's done that down the inside. Oh, that was a fair chunk of lag there for Nanda. That was quite nerve-wracking. As Smokey drops down to 10th place, being overtaken by Rebel. Moves into the top 10, so he will then end up scoring points in this. So long as he finishes, of course. They're a bit too far behind to do anything just yet. And the top 3, they're just spreading out as yellows are out again. It's Vitals around. And there's Debris on the racetrack as well. So a decent chance that he actually broke something there. As Smokey is passed by Black Baller. Oh, and around his little Mick. He's into the gravel trap. Oh, dearie me. And he tumbles all the way down to 15th. 2 wide action here. Heading up towards Blanchimont. Black Baller. Smokey side by side. Captain Schmeg tries to follow. He's got nowhere to go though. Up towards the bus stop. Smokey looking around the outside. Oh, you'll have the inside line for the final corner. It's tight stuff. The Black Baller wins out. Rebel is sideways. He's now back outside of the points. Down the inside. Smokey has a go here at turn 1 on Captain Schmeg. They're side by side, wheel to wheel, contact even, as we head down towards Eau Rouge. Rebel trying to find a way through. Oh, tight, side by side action. They get through. Rebel into 10th. And now Tom's getting involved. He gets by Smokey. He moves into 11th. JBH getting by Fiddy. That's for 13th. Rebel, Captain Schmeg side by side. And it's all happening here in the midfield. They're battling hard for what is only a couple of points. Down the hill towards turn 9. Rebel round the outside. He's got momentum. He gets in front. That's a nice move. P8 is his. Man, what a scrap here. Oh, Black Baller tries to fight round the outside at 12. Almost 3 wide entering 13. Tom gets in front. He's into the top 10. As Saucy gets by KD. We've got a battle on for P2 it seems. KD's out of battery. So is Saucy. Yellows are out. It's Smokey in the Alpha. Saucy will hang on to second position. It seems it will be Axis who wins the sprint. Saucy home in second. KD in third. Followed by Nico, then Jay. Then what about the rest of these fellas? Off the racetrack is Black Baller. And down the order is Rebel. He's well down in 13th position. A lot of drama here in the midfield it seems. A lot of drama indeed. A lot of shuffling. Gee whiz. There we are. Nanda given driver of the day. So, the results from the sprint. Axis is your race winner by 2.2 seconds over Saucy in P2. KD will finish on the podium in 3rd. Nico 4th, followed by Jay in 5th, and GOP 6th, and Nander in 7th. Tom 8th, Captain Schmeg in 9th, and Black Baller rounds out the top 10. And is our final point scorer. Alright, JBH P11, followed by Fiddy. Then Rebel ends up 13th. He was in 8th, and he tumbled down to 13th again. Little Mick, Smokey, 15th position, followed by Vitals, and our retirees Drag King and Stubbs, resulting in 2 safety cars that made the majority of that race quite dull. Of course, we had quite the ending, that's for sure. Had quite the ending. I think it's been 43 minutes since we started, and we've only just got into this race. Far out. 43 minutes. Yeah, I hope so too, JBH. I really do. When we had half the race behind the safety car, it really made everything dull. Had quite an ending, though. But, yeah. Hopefully the main race is a bit more exciting for us, eh? A bit more exciting. Drivers will be deciding what kind of strategy they want to go with. There is a few options you can try and go with here at Spa, because the tyre deg isn't dreadful, but when the tyres do go off, it becomes a tad bit of a nightmare. But they can last, the tyres can last a decent amount of time. It's just when they drop off they become, well, it's like driving on butter. It's just not a great feeling. But you can make soft medium work, soft hard work, medium hard, hard medium. There's options. And of course we had that little notation that there might be rain in this race, but only time will tell. If there is rain, that might shake things up quite a lot. Alright, we're lined up, ready to race again. We've got 5 red lights, and the main race is underway at Spa. Great start from Axis again, as he will lead into turn 1 by a decent margin as well. KD looking down the inside of the Red Bull. Can he get in front? Not quite. Saucy will hang on to P2 as we head towards Eau Rouge for the first time. Leaders align astern as we head through the infamous complex. Williams P4 and 5 looking pretty solid out here right now. Yellows are out as Black Baller crashes out at the top of Radion. We have a virtual safety car. Oh dear. You do expect this to happen every... Oh, contact, and around goes Tom. He hits Smokey. Through goes Captain Schmeg. He's now gone out of the way. This is just causing a huge mess. Trying to work out who's in the right position. Flick up the tyres, shall we? Yeah, the majority on the medium compound tyre. Rebel on hards. Both Smokey and Tom on softs. Venom Stubbs on the hards as well, as we're back under green flag conditions. So drama in the mid-pack. Black Baller is out. We're down to 17 already. Coming out of the middle sector, Smokey getting by JBH, that's for 9th. Bit of lag there, but we get through it. Up towards Blanchimont. Saucy closing in, trying to find a way through. Tom gets Smokey. Oh, for crying out loud. I know this is going to be on my end. I don't doubt it. Nico gets by KD, that's for 3rd position. KD tries to get him back down the inside here at turn 1. Yeah, the lag ain't great, that's for sure. Hopefully it sorts itself out. And it's still not sorting itself out. Gee whiz. Up towards Lake Com. Moving on to the hard tyre. Man, what is going on right now? Yellows are out. Who is it? It's Tom in the McLaren. Around at turn 5. Oh, and he's stuck. There we go. Yeah, that's the only time I accept drivers resetting to track, because they absolutely need to in that particular situation. It seems to have sorted itself. Half a second is the gap between Axis and Saucy. Yellow's out again. That is Tom again, spinning out. That's at turn 8. There's the race strategy. Lap 9 to 10 is the pit window to get off the softs onto mediums. You can stretch it a bit longer. Pit window is about lap 10 to 14 to get off the mediums and onto a set of hards. So you can really try and stretch those yellow tyres out. Of course, another option as well is pitting early onto a set of hard tyres. Well, big old lock up there from Saucy. Plenty of white smoke heading into turn 18 as DRS is now enabled. Rebel close to Geo. Rebel doing a decent job on those hard compound tyres. They won't have the outright pace right now. Should come to him later on though. Up the hill, round turn 4. Onto the Camel Straight. Saucy gets by Axis. That's with the power of DRS right there. So a new race leader. The beginning of lap 3. Rebel close to Gia. Not close enough to pass. Smokey getting by JBH. JBH fighting back as we go through turn 6 and up towards turn 7. Contact between the two cars. Slowing each other down. Fiddy closes in. Not by enough to try and attack though. JBH getting in front of Smokey. Will Smokey try and fight back? No. He'll slot in behind the Mercedes. Drop down into 10th place. Yellow's out. It's Vitals in the Alpine. Spinning at turn 8. Side by side. Start through. Poo on. Contact and into the wall goes Fiddy. Oh no. And into the wall again. Car comes to a stop at the exit of turn 11. There's a flick spin in front of track. Thankfully, ghosting system is turned on. He drops down to 15th place. Tenth and a half. Fiddy's retired. He's crashed out. We have a safety car. It's a virtual safety car prompt, but there's the yellow dot in pit lane. It's going to evolve into a proper safety car. Into pit lane goes Nanda. So someone's taking the opportunity. Try and pit for some new tyres. Axis has taken the lead from Saucy under yellow. So evidently there was an illegal overtake prompt, I guess, and Axis has taken the lead back. Saucy's taken the lead back. But I'm guessing the game will tell him to give that back? No? No, it doesn't. Or is it? I don't know. Saucy's taken the lead back from Axis. Appears to be sorted. A few takers into pit lane. Tom is one of them. Captain Schmeck onto a set of softs. Interesting call that is. It will mean that he's still got one more stop to make over the course of this race. Hard tyres. Little Mick is in as well. He'll be pitting for mediums. Away he leaves. Little Mick will leave pit lane now. He's already used those medium compound tyres. They already have a lap next to their name. So they're not completely fresh. They are slightly used. Plenty of drama during the opening laps here at Spa. It's what you tend to see around a racetrack like this. 2 retirements down. With 1 VSC and 1 safety car into this race. We're going to be spending a fair bit of time behind this safety car. There's the position changes. Saucy up a place, Axis down 1. Rebel up 6 from 13th. He's made his way up to 7th. Drag King has recovered well. He's up into 9th place after crashing out during the sprint. Smokey up 5. Venom up 6. Vitals up 5. Nanda down 5. He took the opportunity to pit. He's moved on to the hard compound tyre, so I'm hazarding a guess he's going to try and finish the race on those tyres. He should be doing one more lap behind the safety car. Once they complete that lap, should go back on the green flag conditions. Over the course of this race, plus the sprint, 3 safety cars, 1 VSC. Yeah, I heard JBH there's a chance for rain. Might spice things up. Just have to wait and see. I mean, at the moment, yeah, still a bit of blue. There's definitely shades of grey over the racetrack, though. Yeah, we'll leave it on tyre. Got a fair old mix-up now in regards to tyre compounds. Plenty of people on mediums, fair few on hards, 2 on softs. Smokey and Captain Schmeg. Smokey started on those tyres. Captain Schmeg has moved on to those softs. And they're good, honestly, they're good for about 4 laps or so, and after that point they're no better than mediums. So Smokey's in a bit of a predicament with those tyres because, yeah, they're going to fall off pretty quickly. Patiently waiting. That's all you can do, folks. During periods like this, it's just waiting. I to whack up the telemetry, ready for the restart. Be interesting to see how Saucy negotiates the restart compared to Axis. Axis did pretty well on his 2 safety car restarts. See what the Red Bull driver can do, eh? Alright, safety car in this lap. Off goes the Aston Martin, up into the distance. Also getting his tyres nice and warm. Back in the field up, hovering at 50 miles an hour, increasing to 60 now 70. Captain Schmeg, a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Vitals. Ah yes, that good old penalty. Good to see that's still a thing. Safety car's now back into pit lane. Going through pit lane entry to be exact. Alright, there goes Saucy. It's a solid restart. Just need to get his way through the bus stop without making a mistake. He does so. Bit of a wiggle too from Axis. Lose a little bit more time. It's now lap 6 of 22. We're back under green flag conditions here at Spa. Down the hill towards turn 2. Axis in the slipstream, closing the gap. KD not the best of restarts there. He's already a second behind, or near enough a second behind Axis. Need to get his head down, keep within that critical 1 second margin. Here we go towards turn 5. The AlphaTauri is not closing in by enough to challenge the Red Bull through Lake Om. Oh, it's right on his gearbox there at the exit of turn 6. Down towards turn 8. He's got a run going. Just wasn't close enough to send it. Saucy's a bit wide. He doesn't look comfortable at the moment. Axis applying pressure. Down the hill towards Puor. Captain Schmeg gets by Vitals. That's for 13th. Vitals gets him back. Up towards turn 12. Axis looking but can't find a way through. He stays behind. Whoa. Close to the tail of Saucy's car. Up towards Blanchimont. Turn 17. Gap sitting at 3/10. KD's closed the gap down. It's now half a second, so he has indeed got his head down. He has indeed closed the gap. Axis almost goes into the back of the Red Bull again. Oh, he's a bit sideways too. He loses time. In the new lap, head up towards turn 1. Oh, and again he overshoots. Almost goes into the back of the Red Bull. Gap sitting at half a second. It shrinks down the straightaway. Through Eau Rouge. Then Radial. No DRS available just yet, but I can assure you when it's turned on, it's going to provide a huge advantage down the Kemmel Straight. KD closes to within 3/10 of Axis. He's used a bit of battery though to get there. See Saucy on 78, Axis on 86, KD 33. Smokey tumbling down through the order. Bit of a mix-up down at the Les Combe chicane. Drops down to 13th place. Tight midfield battle here as Nanda's trying to find a way through. Drag King currently holding on to 9th position, leading this 4-car train. Little Mick gets by Stubbs. That's for 15th. That's the final point scoring spot. Oh, Vital's down the inside of Nanda there. Tries to keep the fight alive around the outside, but just doesn't have the grip. He stays behind the halves. Round turn 15. Nanda, can he find a way through? He's dumping the battery. He wants to get by. Looks around the outside. Drag King cuts him off though. Up towards the bus stop. Perhaps a send from Nanda. He looks. Can't get it done. In fact, Vitals tries to go around the outside of him. The Haas and the Alpine make contact. Captain Schmeg balked a little bit as Tom closes in. Looks around the outside. Everyone pulls it up nicely through La Source. No contact was made. Nanda will try and find a way by dragging, and I reckon he's going to make a successful pass, just like Axis here. Down the inside. Should be fairly straightforward. Axis gets in front. Well, Saucy's made it complicated for himself. Cuts turn 6, loses time. Thankfully, he only falls down to 2nd. 2 Williams, must say, looking very solid. Nico and Jay right now. Looking very good. Gio just behind in 6th position, followed by Rebel in 7th. On hard compound tyres. Again, looking good. Go back to this, shall we? Drag King now in 10th place. Well behind Nanda. Absolutely taken off into the distance. Captain Schmeck had a look, but he decided not to commit to it. Can't find a way through at turn 14 either. Stays behind. Little wiggle. Up towards Blanchimont. Look at the speed the Haas has. Gives himself the inside line. Wheel to wheel towards Blanchimont. Contact. The Alpha's forced wide. There's more contact as we head towards the bus stop. Captain Schmeck sending it in under brakes. Vitals goes into the back of the Alpha. Onto the main straightaway we go. Drag King hangs on to 10th. Rebel and JBH are now battling away. Rebel with the better line out of the corner hangs on to 7th. Almost 3 wide action between these. Into the wall goes Schmeg and Vitals. The Haas is out. 3 retirements now and 2 safety cars deployed in this race. Now who's taking the lead? Is it Saucy or Axis? I'm guessing it's Axis. This is a more ideally placed pit window for the medium runners. All of them can pit onto the hard tyre now. Can easily make it to the end of the race. This is a blow for Rebel on those hard tyres. He can pit onto the mediums, and he probably could get to the end. Those tyres are going to be properly shot by the end of the race. Yeah, Vitals and Captain Schmeg hooking up, flying into the barrier. Vital surely has damage. Let's have a look at his car. Yeah, he's got a broken end plate, so he'll be coming in as well to get that car fixed. Man, that was a really, really tight battle between the likes of Nanda, Drag King, Vitals, Captain Schmeg. Tom was in it as well. And I'm not terribly surprised that it resulted in a catastrophe with Captain Schmeg. Yeah, you have to be careful with that delta. You've got to pay attention to it. That's why Vitals came to a stop there. The delta changes on you very, very quickly. Is KD stay? Oh, KD. And Nico. And Jay. What? Why are people staying out? How far away is that rain? That's the only reason why. And they're pitting onto softs. What? That rain really mustn't be far away. I mean, it's overcast, but... Oh, okay. I'm surprised with that one, for sure. I am very, very surprised. Well, that could be the only reason why you'd stay out. I mean, the hard tyre, from what I could tell from Pacific Elite and Pacific Tier 1, the hard tyre worked pretty well around here. The medium hard is probably the go-to strategy here. And this was the perfect pit window to move off the mediums and on to hards. I think the only reason why they haven't pit is because of the potential for wet weather. I mean, it is cloudy, but it ain't dark. You can tell from the light on the racetrack, there's still plenty of sunshine. So the track needs to change pretty quickly. They've got a window of about 4 laps where those mediums are still good. You could probably stretch it maybe 1 or 2 extra because of the safety cars we've had. And Axis and Saucy pitted onto softs. That's a lot of laps to do on softs if this remains dry. It all depends on when the rain comes and when the track actually turns to intermediate conditions, because it's nowhere near it yet. It's overcast, yes, but it's not anywhere near wet. Trust me, I know. I've done too much of this stuff. I've done way too much of this stuff. Right now... That light has disappeared somewhat. It's become a bit darker. Just slightly. Maybe the rain isn't too far away. Right. Do one more lap behind the safety car. Peculiar strategies going on. Very peculiar. And surrounded by the rain. Yeah, no, it's definitely become darker. That's for sure. Track doesn't have that same yellow glow what it had a lap ago. It is changing quite quickly. Quicker than I anticipated. Alright. Axis and Saucy P11 and P12. Got a lot of catching up to do. They got to stay hopeful that the rain stays away for as long as it possibly can. Not much more to go through now. Just waiting for the safety car period to end. Safety car lock should go out in 3, 2, 1. Okay. It's galled its way back towards the pits, and KD will now control the field. Track has certainly become a bit greyer. A decent amount of cloud cover over the racetrack. A lot of drivers on old tyres. And those who are on fresh tyres are right up towards the back of the field. Yeah, bit of a head scratcher when it comes to strategy. We'll see how it all pans out. KD takes off. Decent restart from him. Go through the bus stop chicane. Back onto the main straightaway. Nico put together a pretty good final chicane. Rebel into pit lane. Why? Has he got damage? Let's have a look. No, this is intermediate tyres. It's not even raining yet. Not a single drop of rain. And he's on intermediate tyres. That's an audacious call. I really don't think will work at all. 8 tenths separating the top two as they head down towards turn 8. Axis. And off the racetrack is somebody. If I tell who that was, I think it's Drag King. He's tumbling down. Axis having a look down the inside here. Gets it done, gets in front, Tom's wide. Now Saucy moves through into 8th position. 1.3 seconds to gap between Axis and Nanda, and that gap's going to shrink in no time at all. Now the drops are falling. Well, how long will it take for the track to fully evolve then? Man, that did not take long at all. That took a span of 3 laps. Would be nice if the game actually gave me this kind of freaking information, but after 10 years of making F1 games, they've never thought of it. So, yeah, typical Codemaster stuff. Good stuff. Alright. So, I'm guessing they're going to come in. No, KD stays out. Nico stays out. Jay goes in. Ooh, almost goes into the pit wall is what he almost goes into. Into the pits goes one of the McLarens. It's Tom. Head around La Source, turn 1. Nanda on 9-lap-old hards. How good will those tyres be in these conditions? Short answer is really not good. But these conditions are where the soft tyre works its absolute best. Just leave the medium runners standing still. Needs to find a way past JBH. JBH putting up a valiant fight. Down the hill we go towards turn 8. He gets in front. Yellows are out again. It is, I believe that was Vitals having a moment. dropping down to 11th place. Almost making contact there with the Aston Martin. As you can see as well, Jay in front of Rebel. Stubbs a 3-second time penalty. Axis moves up into 3rd place. Saucy moving up into P5 as well. These old mediums, they're not going to feel great in these conditions. Track continues to get worse and worse, and Axis, well, he moves through into P2. Spinning! It's Gio! He's completely around. Thankfully, the ghosting system kicked in. He's going to get disqualified in a minute. Oh, thankfully he doesn't. Thankfully he doesn't. Nico can't hold on to 2nd. Axis moves through. KD stays out. Axis is in. Nico's in. Nanda stays out. DRS is enabled. That's a call from Race Control. Race Control are saying the track's dry enough, boys. Ain't wet enough yet. According to them, of course. See what the times look like, shall we? As Jay gets by Gio, who moves into pit lane. Axis onto a set of intermediate tyres is leaving the pits. Jay will not get in front. He is behind Axis. The DRS is enabled. Oh, I don't think he timed this pass well enough. Will Axis get DRS here? No, he won't. Oh, he timed it perfectly then. He was so close to giving Axis DRS there. So close. Yeah, Axis getting a net gain on those soft tyres. Gio a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Track getting progressively worse and worse, but DRS is still enabled. Big wiggle there from Axis. Down the hill. Towards turn 10. Puon. In the dry, this track. It's tough. It forces a driver to push right to the edge. Make a single mistake, you can end up in the wall. In the wet, however, this track is a complete and utter nightmare. So many areas that you would find to be inconspicuous turn into very dastardly difficult corners. As Axis gets by Jay, that's for P6. Meanwhile, the leaders are in. The track's wet enough now. The DRS, I believe, is still enabled. I haven't seen the prompt. Yeah, there's the DRS indicator on the telemetry. Building up. This will mean Axis will take the lead, I'd assume. Yeah, they'll take it easily. That extra lap has really killed KD and his chances. There goes Axis, then the two Williams. KD's down to 5th, Saucy 6th, followed by Nanda, who's passed by Rebel. This intermediate period has taken an interesting turn. This race has shuffled things up as DRS is now disabled right in the middle of Nanda's overtake. And Rebel hangs on. Bit wide entering turn 6, but he hangs on to the position. Nanda would have got that position if he still had DRS, but it got shut on him midway through the straight by the virtual race control. Alright. So pitting in has paid enough dividends to Axis that he'll maintain his race lead. It's, excuse me, the strategy that both Williams went with was staying out. P3, P4. Not much more needs to be said as Stubbs has crashed out, and we have another safety car. There's the Red Bull in the middle of the road. That's what happens when you try and drive on slicks in the wet, folks. It doesn't end well. Tom out there on slick tyres for some reason. Gio gets a drive through for speeding during the safety car period. He wasn't paying attention to the Delta. 4 retirements down, 3 safety cars in, 1 VSC. Can we get some green flag running as Gio gets another time penalty for not paying attention to the... Oh, sorry, no, was that Tom who got it? It was. Sorry, I thought Gio got that, unless he did. Hang on. Scroll, scroll, scroll. He did get 2. How many safety cars? 3. Plus 1 virtual safety car. Over the course of this whole event, we've had 5 safety cars. Plus 1 VSC. As Gio just straight up retires in the pit lane. Even though you score points if you finish in the top 15. It does sound like Spa, don't it? And Tom... For God's sake. Whatever. Whatever. Years left the session. I'm sure Tom will follow suit. Man. I just wouldn't mind some green flag running, you know? I suppose with the hindsight of what this race is going to be, yeah. I'd be happy that got to retire early. Yeah, I understand. Rouge and Radion, it's well, it's Rouge and Radion. Not much more that needs to be said. I myself have been part of quite a number of accidents at the top of that place. It's a fast, low... sometimes it feels like it's low grip. It shouldn't feel low grip in these things, but sometimes it does. Especially when you're heading up the hill and around turn 4, the car can break loose on you. Especially in these conditions. But yeah. I understand. Alright, should do one more lap behind the safety car and then it will go back in the pit lane and hopefully we never see her again. Oh, there's been too many laps on the yellow. I want the yellow flag to disappear. I only want green flag. Yellow flag makes me angry. Make me bored. Yeah. Yeah, the rear can snap loose. Especially on the first lap when the tyres are cold, when you haven't done a run with a full load of fuel in the car, the back can just... Yeah, and if you've got ERS turned on, sometimes you forget to turn it off on a first lap. Got to turn on, there's just too much power and the back end can just snap out on you. It happens. It happens. Thankfully, it wasn't the worst case scenario and it involved multiple cars. Because I've seen those. I've been a part of those. Where an accident can happen right at the top of Radion and there's a 10-car pile-up. You can have the Belgian big one. So I like to refer it to. An old clip I have on my own YouTube channel. Back in the days of F1 2020, Belgium big one. It's a doozy. Yeah, that tyre glitch, Tom, is... Yeah, I'm not surprised it's still a thing. You can request to have a certain tyre put on the car, but sometimes it won't give it to you. It's been a thing for a while. Unfortunately. And it won't change. Because it's Codemasters, they don't fix anything. They just add in new suits and helmets and tables and rugs and lamps and that kind of stuff. You know, people, for some reason, buy that kind of stuff, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why you would. Literally does nothing for the gameplay. Anywho, rambling over. At least I had something to talk about during the safety car period. Everyone's on inters. The only major detail we need to know is that Jay has 3 seconds of penalties and Nico has 5. Everyone else is penalty free. Axis is at the front of the field again. He can break away on this restart if he times it well enough and doesn't make a big mistake. Alright. Here we go. Through the bus stop, nice and easy. Jay, I said easy. He's completely muffed up the chicane. He's muffed up his teammate. KD has an opportunity to try and go for third. Gonna have a look around the outside here. Heading into turn 1. Oh, Nico overshoots. Runs wide onto the AstroTurf. Tumbles down to 5th. Here comes Rebel to try and take P5 away. And he does. Or Understeer City somehow does not somehow keeps the car straight. I don't know how he didn't lose it there. That car understeered quite a lot. JBH having a looking around the outside. Nanda sending it round. Hello, sunshine. Gee whiz. That was a good overtake right there, around the outside. That's a wet weather overtake right there. JBH having a looking down the inside. Nico in trouble on this restart. Really screwed over by his team. Nanda again around the outside. Contact and into the fence again! Oh my goodness me. The drama never ends. Nanda and Rebel into the wall. Somehow they're both still running. Front wing damage on the Haas. He'll have to come in and get that fixed. Oh, can you believe it? Drama again. Somehow that didn't result in a retirement. Axis is driving off into the rain clouds, I guess. It's not exactly driving into the sunset. Hey, bro. I just think stuff up. Whatever comes into my mouth, I just say. Ooh. JBH almost goes into the back of Nico. He gives himself a 3-second time penalty. Mick gives himself a corner cutting penalty. He might... No, he won't lose the position to Smokey. Smokey's not close enough. Rebel gets by Nanda. Saucy gets by JBH. JBH runs wide and almost gets past by Nico. Nanda retires in the pit lane. He's had enough for the day. We're now down to 11 cars. KD is still behind the Williams as we head down the Camel Straight. He is dumping every bit of battery he's got left. Here we go. To the inside he'll look. But doesn't get close enough to commit to a move. I suppose Jay's car super quick down the straightaways. So KD, he needs to think unorthodoxly. He needs to try and find a more interesting way to try and pass, because he's not going to do it down the straightaways. He doesn't have enough straight line speed to get by the Williams. The Williams don't look too bad in the high speed stuff either. I think Jay's got decent pace right now. Saucy behind, there's JBH and Nico. Maybe it's not just the straight line performance then. He doesn't have a lot of battery. Okay, so he might have dumped a fair bit to try and keep KD at bay. And now KD closes in. Gap shrinks to 3.5 tenths. Quite a lot of spray coming off the tyres now. As we head up towards Blanchimont. Mick gets by Nico, that's for P6. Nico gives himself a time penalty. KD, whoa, completely, oh wow, he completely screwed up turn 18, locked the rears and spun the thing round. Spinotto must have got into his ears. Influenced the poor boy. He's now down in 17th. Oh no. He's down in the 7th position. Drag King and Smokey side by side. Two Alfa Romeos drag racing down the hill as Nander's left the session. Up the hill. Understeer again. Cutting the track again as Saucy passes Jay. That's at turn 5. So the Red Bull up into P2, and I don't really think he'll be challenging the race leader. Axis is in a world of his own right now. Neat little 3-car scrap. Smokey, Drag King, Vitals. Rebels had a shocker of a day. Crashed out during qualifying, had a huge midfield scrap in the sprint, and now in 11th place. I mean, he set to score points as a bare minimum, but yeah, this wasn't the race that he was looking for, that's for sure. Axis, on the other hand, man, barely put a foot wrong. I throw out question marks with his decision to move on to the soft tyre during the second safety car period, but as it turned out, that was the right choice. The rain came about 2 laps after the safety car ended, so it ended up being the right call. Saucy 4.2 seconds behind. He can push as hard as he likes, but yeah, Axis can just control his own pace and make sure he can win this thing. That's a fair point, Blackballer. With the penalties that the drivers have in front, and they continue to increase, there is a chance KD will finish on the podium. But got a bit of work to do. If I bring up the gap to leader, KD 8.7, 5.7, he might be able to finish P3. He needs to keep out of trouble and not get a penalty himself, because he's close enough to Jay that he will overtake him. That's Rebel getting by Drag King. Tidy move that was. Nico trying to pass Mick. Will Mick fire back down the inside? Oh no, but Nico will run wide. Lose time. There's KD. Not close enough. Try and pass the Williams. Nico doing his teammate a favour in a way. He holds up KD. It will ensure that Jay can finish on the podium. First of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Round Puon, turn 10, then turn 11. Just can't do much through this middle sector. And as you can see as well, KD's already used a fair amount of battery. Still got a little bit in hand, which should be more than enough, hopefully. But, yeah, it's going to be a tight finish between Jay and KD, that's for sure. Out in front, leading the way. Huge margin in hand. He can take it easy on the final lap. Make sure he doesn't put it into the barrier. Makes his way onto the main straightaway. He will begin the final lap. Lap 22 of 22 as Smokey is passed by Rebel. Can Smokey fight back? He's trying to round the outside. Just a bit too far there. Oh, speaking of too far, his teammate Drag King drops down to 11th place because of that. Now, oh, KD's in the fence! He's in the fence at turn 1. Did Nico and KD come together? I think that must have happened, considering where KD ended up. Well, that might be podium out the window then for the Ferrari driver. Best he can hope for is a top 5 finish as Little Mick makes his way through into 4th place, but with the time penalty he will be held back. .1 seconds a gap. Axis just trying to bring it home now. Little Mick under a little bit of pressure from JBH. Oh, JBH using the full width of the circuit there. All of the curb, the inside and outside of the racetrack. All he needs to do is stay within range of Little Meg. Doesn't need to do anything silly. It'll be a 4th place finish. He'll be happy with that. Jay on for a podium. I'm sure he'll be pretty happy with that. Alright. Through the final sector for the last time. It's been a long, long race. Plenty of drama, plenty of safety cars. But we got through it. And even in these challenging conditions, Axis has put together a near perfect performance. Both the sprint and in the main race. Yellow flags are out. It matters not. Axis will win the Belgian Grand Prix. Saucy will come home in 2nd position, and completing the podium places will be Jay for Williams. He'd be happy with that. JBH will finish 4th. Little Mick in 5th, followed by Nico. Will KD jump up a few places? He shall. 5th place for him. Rebel up to 7th. Drag King will finish 9th. No, 10th. His teammate will finish 9th instead. Vitals, our final finisher, finish 11th. Rebel given driver of the day. Well, that was certainly a race. That was a race that existed. 5 safety cars total, plus 1 virtual safety car. There was a lot of yellow over the course of this race. But it's the white and blue that stands on the top step on the podium. Axis is your race winner. Saucy home in 2nd. Jay, his first podium of the season, in 3rd. So then, the unofficial results of this Belgian Grand Prix. Axis is your race winner by 5.4 seconds over Saucy in P2. And Jay, this is indeed his first podium of the season. P3 for him, followed by JBH in 4th, who recovered from 11th to finish P4. KD could have been a podium finish. Instead, he will end up 5th after that race. Little Mick P6, followed by Rebel. Made his way up from 13th to 7th. Little Mick from 14th to 6th. Not a bad effort from him either. Nico 8th, followed by Smokey and Drag King. Vitals, our final finisher. Retirees Nanda, Geo, Tom, Stubbs, Captain Schmeg, 55 Cent, and Black Baller. We started with 18. We finished with 11. Yeah, it was a dramatic race here at Spa, as you'd probably expect. A race of attrition for sure. There we are. No, well done to our top 3 again. Congratulations to Jay, first podium of the season. Saucy as well. That was his first podium of the season. I'm just looking at the table now. Usually you see him up there fighting for the podium places. This is actually his first of the season. And this will be Axis's second win of the season. His first since round 1 all the way back in Austria. I'd imagine as well with the points that he scored, he should take the championship lead heading into the next round of the championship. I think, folks, with everything said and done, it's now time for us to wrap up the stream. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I've been Lane Everingham, and we'll see you next week for round 5 at the Marina Bay Street Circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix. Newly designed Marina Bay as well. Should be quite interesting to see how that track, how that circuit races with the brand new section. Be very, very interesting. But until then, it's goodbye.